Thank you, fellow teammates. Good Puan Shantini. My name is Ziad. I'm Group 8's team leader. Join here with my fellow teammates Birong Yu, Guo Sitong, and Wu Wu Hongsha. Today, we will deliver our findings and analysis on the dynamics of pregnancy-based discrimination on employment in Malaysia. Next slide, please. First, we are going to start with uh, what's the issue of pregnancy discrimination in Malaysia. So, pregnancy discrimination in the workplace is a significant issue hindering gender equality and women's full participation in Malaysia's workforce. This is painted by the landmark cases on conflicting judicial interpretations and gaps in their legal protections. Notably, the Nur Fadila case in 2012 ruled that refusing employment due to pregnancy is an unconstitutional gender discrimination. However, the court decided in 2014 within the AirAsia case that pregnancy prohibition is allowed during job training. This also this terms this decision is contradicting to Nur Fadila rulings. Next slide, please. Moving on to the overview of Malaysian employment law. First, we're going to look at the Employment Act of 1955. Regarding these matters, it prohibits the dismissal of pregnant employees. Also, worth to note that Malaysia is a signatory state to the Convention on Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, but since it is a convention and it has no legal binding force. Instead, it has a moral binding force, which is not as quite strong as a legal binding force would do. Uh, Also, moving on to Article 8 of the Federal Constitution, it guarantees gender equality, but judicial interpretation still determines if an occurrence or an event constitutes pregnancy-based gender discrimination. The conclusion is this would result in uncertainty and affects the legal certainty itself. Next slide, please.
Okay, next move to the POP Germany legal regime. In contrast to Malaysia's fragmented legal protections, German law established strong and explicit statutory safeguards against pregnancy discrimination through two key pieces of legislation. The Maternity Protection Act in Article 1 points out its objective. It prohibits termination, discrimination, detrimental treatment of failure to provide reasonable accommodations for employers based on pregnancy or recent childbirth. It imposes strict obligations on employers to make allowance and implement comprehensive safeguards for pregnant workers. Complementing the Maternity Protection Act, the General Equal Treatment Act prohibits discrimination in employment and the workplace on grounds including gender and pregnancy status. Notably, its protection extends beyond just termination to also cover recruitment, hiring, promotions, and terms or conditions, area lacking coverage under current Malaysian law. Rather than relying primarily on judicial interpretation of constitutional equality principles as in Malaysia, this two-pronged German statutory approach provides a comprehensive legislative framework. It clearly delineates impermissible conduct constituting unlawful pregnancy discrimination across all facets of the employment circle. The German statutes prescribe explicit and binding legal obligations for employers regarding reasonable accommodations as well as prescription against discrimination related to pregnancies. the next page.
I will talk about a comparative analysis based on German law and Malaysian law. First, the comprehensiveness of the legal framework. Germany has enacted deducted laws. The Maternity Protection Act and the Gender Equal Treatment Act comprehensively prohibiting all forms of pregnancy discrimination. In contrast, Malaysia only has fragmented protections, primarily focused on preventing the dismissal of pregnant employees. Second, the clarity of legal responsibilities. German laws clearly define employees' responsibilities across all employment stages, including providing reasonable accommodation for pregnant employees. In Malaysia, however, those responsibilities often rely on judicial interpretation. Next. Third, the scope of employment circle coverage. German law covers the entire employment circle, from recruitment to dismissal, but Malaysian focuses on the dismissal stage, with enacted protection in other employment phases. Fourth, the implementation of regional or international guidelines. Germany has implemented relevant European Union directed on equal treatment on protection of pregnant workers, further strengthening its legal framework, but Malaysia lacks the implementation of similar regional or international guidelines. Finally, the consistency and clarity of legal standards. Through dedicated legislation, Germany's legal standards are clearly and consistent nationwide. However, due to inconsistent ruling like Norvegia and Air Asian cases, Malaysia's legal standards appear ambiguous and lack uniforms. Above analysis, the legal difference between the two countries are demonstrated.
Okay, next I will conclude. Today, we focus on an important topic, the discrimination faced by pregnant women in the workplace in Malaysia. Despite the constitutional guarantees of gender equality, the reality shows that there are significant gaps in the implementation of these guarantees. The outcome of the Air Asia case shows that the inconsistency of the justice system in handling cases of pregnancy discrimination and highlights the inadequacy of the existing legal framework. Next slide, please. To the end, we must learn from successful international experience, such as the Germany's Women and Gender Equality Act, to ensure that the rights of women during pregnancy are not violated through the enactment of comprehensive legislation. This is not only an upholding of Malaysia's constitutional commitment, but also a sign of our progress as a developing country towards a developed one. Comprehensive law reforms, particularly in the area of enhanced anti-discrimination laws, are critical to creating a free and inclusive workplace environment. So let us all work together to ensure that our workplace is free from discrimination on the basis of pregnancy and is truly gender equal. Next slide. Thank you all. Thank you for watching.